There was a girl named Amara, known for her laughter. Her smile was like a sunrise, capable of brightening a room even before she stepped inside. People said her joy was a gift, a light that never dimmed. But life has a way of testing even the strongest hearts, of dimming even the brightest lights. One morning, her teacher, a woman with kind eyes and a quiet strength, walked into the classroom. She wasn't carrying books or papers. Instead, she held a large, empty glass jar, which she placed carefully on the table at the front of the room. Beside it, she poured out a pile of smooth, gray stones, each one different in shape and size. The class watched, curious and silent. "Today," she announced, her voice calm and clear, "we are not going to study history or mathematics. Today, I will teach you something about life." She passed out small slips of paper to every student. "I want you to think about the biggest problem you are facing right now. The one thing that weighs on your heart, that keeps you awake at night." She paused, letting her words sink in. It could be fear, heartbreak, betrayal, or a failure you can't seem to move past. It could be loneliness. Whatever it is, write it down. No one will see your name. A quiet scratching of pencils filled the room. Students wrote about arguments with friends, anxieties about the future, and the pressure to succeed. But when the teacher reached Amara, the girl who smiled the most, she hesitated. Amara's head was bowed, her usual bright eyes clouded with a deep, unspoken sorrow. She gripped her pencil tightly, and with a shaky hand, she quietly wrote, "I lost my mother, and I'm afraid to forget her." The teacher collected all the folded papers. One by one, she opened them, read the problem aloud to the class, and then dropped a single stone into the jar. "Fear of the future," she said, and a stone clinked against the glass. "A broken friendship," she read, and another stone followed. "The feeling of not being good enough," and another stone dropped. One stone, another, and another. Each clink was an echo of a silent struggle, a hidden pain. The jar filled quickly, the stones piling on top of each other until they almost reached the brim. The once empty jar was now heavy with the collective burdens of the classroom. The teacher then wrapped both of her hands around the jar, grunted slightly as she lifted it, and held it out for the class to see. "Is this jar heavy?" she asked, her voice steady. Almost in unison, the entire class nodded. "Yes," a few students whispered. "It looks very heavy." The teacher smiled, a soft, knowing smile. "No," she replied, surprising everyone. "It's not heavy at all, if I only hold it for a moment." She set it back down. "But if I were to hold it just like this for 1 hour, my arm would start to ache. My muscles would cramp, and the pain would become distracting. If I tried to hold it all day long, my arm would feel numb, paralyzed. The weight of the jar itself doesn't change, but the longer I hold it, the heavier and more unbearable it becomes. And if I tried to carry this weight for weeks, months, or even years, it would eventually break me." She turned her gaze directly to Amara. Her look was not one of pity, but of deep, genuine understanding. She wasn't looking through her. She was looking into her. "Pain," she said, her voice dropping to a near whisper. "Grief, regret. These things are not meant to be carried forever. They are stones in your jar. The longer you hold on to them, the heavier they become, until they feel like they will crush you." The room fell silent. It was a different kind of silence this time. Not the silence of curiosity, but the kind of profound quiet that sinks deep into your soul, where truth resonates. You could feel the weight of her words settling in the air, just as the stones had settled in the jar. "But listen carefully," the teacher continued, her voice regaining its strength. She placed her hand gently on the glass jar, as if comforting it. "You don't survive the loss of someone you love by forgetting them. Trying to forget is like trying to pretend the stone isn't there. It doesn't work. The weight remains." She looked back at Amara, her eyes full of warmth. "You survive by remembering them without letting the memory paralyze your future. You honor them by living, by smiling because they lived, not only crying because they are gone. You carry their light forward, not the weight of their absence." At that moment, something inside Amara broke free. Tears she had held back for so long finally began to fall, not in a torrent of sobs, but as quiet, steady drops that streamed down her face. These were not tears of weakness or despair. They were tears of release. For the first time since her mother's passing, she didn't feel like she was drowning. She felt like she was finally coming up for air. In that classroom, Surrounded by the quiet understanding of her peers, Amara understood. Her mother's story didn't end with her death. Her story continued in every act of kindness Amara chose. In every moment, she found the strength to smile again. In every ounce of courage she used to face a new day. Her mother's legacy wasn't a stone to be carried, but a light to be shared. The lesson that day went far beyond the walls of the classroom. Everyone carries stones. We all have a jar filled with our own grief, our regrets, our guilt, and our fears. And we often convince ourselves that being strong means holding onto them tightly, carrying the weight silently without ever complaining. We believe that showing our struggle is a sign of weakness. But true strength isn't about how much you can carry without breaking. It isn't about drowning silently while pretending you can breathe underwater. Real strength is having the wisdom to know when to set the stones down. It's finding the courage to ask for help, to share your burden with someone who can help you carry it for a while. It's allowing time to soften the sharp edges of your pain, turning heavy stones into smooth pebbles. Sometimes, the most powerful and courageous thing you can do is let go of what you cannot change. Let go of the weight that holds you down, not so you can forget, but so you can finally grow into the person you were always meant to become. Set down the stones. You don't have to carry them forever. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider subscribing for more content that we hope will inspire and uplift you. Take care.